Hello and welcome to Surrendering Average. I'm your host, Joel Mahe. Today's episode is bittersweet because I'm sharing some big news with you because I am making a big pivot in my life and in particular with this podcast. This might be the last episode of Surrendering Average, so listen in and you'll see what I'm up to. And please focus in and be present as you begin to surrender your average life. Hello and welcome to the show. I hope everyone's having an awesome day today. And today's episode is a bit different because it brings two different aspects. One of excitement and one that's a bit sad. And it's a bit sad because it's probably one of, if not the last episode of Surrendering Average. And for me in my life right now, it's time to pivot. It's time to make a change. It's time to course correct just a little bit. Now, Surrendering Average has been kind of an experimental project for myself that really brought a lot of benefits into my life. And many benefits such as learning how to become an engaged speaker, to be able to articulate my thoughts. It taught me more dedication, how to be dedicated to something, even if I wasn't seeing results at times, or, it was to follow through on what I said I was going to do. It was a place and a platform where I could share my message and share the thoughts and experiences that I went through for people to actually listen to, because I love discussing these topics, but frequently they aren't topics that normally get discussed at a dinner party or a family event. So it was a platform where I could share what I was going through, what brought benefit into my life and transformation into my life, where I could share that in hopes that hopefully anyone listening took some sort of value from. And it was just somewhere where I could be passionate and just express more or less who I was and a different side of me, a more vulnerable side of me openly. And it was awesome. It was a great journey and has been a great journey. And really it's just time for me to make a slight pivot. And the good news is that I'm not giving up on podcasting. I'm actually just changing the direction of where Surrendering Average led me to, and kind of getting more specific on where I want to go. So Surrendering Average has been very broad and focused on a wide range of topics, which really helped transform my life and help me along the right path and the right direction in my life. But I covered many, many topics and a wide range of things, from personal development to finances to mindset, in a very broad manner. And a lot of this stuff was topics that I really focused on in the last few years of my life and really had to dig in and dive deep on these topics. But what I found is when I provide a 30-minute episode, it's really just a very short time lapse of what I've been implementing through several years, many years to be honest. And what I came to realize is that as a listener, listening to these small snippets, it's probably very difficult to implement and put those into action. So if you've been on this journey the whole time, or just jumped in the journey and find yourself listening to these episodes, resonating with them, and really conceptually understanding the topics and what I'm talking about, that's awesome and that's amazing. But it's such a bigger gap to actually go from information to integration, as I actually just did an episode on that. And there's a huge gap in that. And it's really not enough just to listen to a topic or listen to the information. But especially for myself anyways, I have to repeatedly listen to that information to really get it into my subconscious and just repeat it, make that the new normal. And along with that, along with digesting that information, it's really about how you integrate it and how you bring that information into your day-to-day life, literally your daily habits. Your days need to incorporate that information. How are you going to meditate? How are you going to journal? How are you going to not react? How are you going to change your mindset? How are you going to align your actions to that mindset, to those intentions? It's a very deep process which can't really get implemented just from listening to a podcast episode. So Surrendering Average was very vague. It served its purpose. It helped me hone in on my skill, hone in on articulating my thoughts, helped me to share my message, helped me step into myself and share that openly. And it brought so many benefits. But really, this pivot that I want to be going through is about getting more specific and really honing in on a specific group. And the reason for this is that's where I believe I will be able to bring the most value and actually help people implement what they are learning. Because if we put that continual focus and energy on one main category, that's going to help folks actually implement what they are learning instead of just jumping around from different categories each week. Oh, this is a new topic. This is a new concept, and it's just very hard to actually put that into practice. And I'm speaking from experience as well, because many times I listen to a variety of podcasts more or less aligned with my interests and what I'm trying to achieve and accomplish in my life. But with jumping around to podcast host, I find myself just digesting so much information that yes, I'm curious about it. I'm intrigued about it. It's interesting. I know that it's going to help me if I can implement it. So many times I just absorb so much information and it's almost overwhelming because I haven't allowed myself enough time to actually implement that information. We need a time frame. We need that scale and, clear directed focus on pretty much one concept just to experience that change in our life. And again, when I experienced the biggest transformation and changes in my life, it was because I was putting not all, but a lot of my focus and attention on that specific area in which I was trying to improve. But when I would spread myself too thin along nutrition, mindset, finances, coaching, and just all over the map, my rate of change was diminished quite a bit because I was spreading myself all over the place. So really, the pivot that I want to do is direct it on one main category. And I want to focus on this next phase of my service and for my voice to really talk to men in relationships. And again, this is where I believe I will be able to help serve and have the largest impact, because this is where my passion, my personal life stories, my values, my skills and experience and wisdom will shine. There will still be many topics that were covered in Surrendering Average discussed in this new endeavor, because actually a lot of topics that were covered in Surrendering Average will relate to relationships in some manner. So a lot of this stuff will still get tied into the new podcast and my new business in which I will be building. It's just going to be a lot more directed and a lot more focused on an immediate problem rather than just like a very vast, vague information source. So yes, it'll be framed around helping men or partners of men or anyone really in a relationship to prepare them, or if you're not in a relationship, to be prepared to enter a relationship. And this will include topics such as personal development, mindset, vision, vulnerability, emotional intelligence, masculinity in relationships, being more intimate, being a leader in your household, and of course, transformation. And in particular, men who need internal transformations to make their relationships work. I find there's so many men who are successful on the outside, but they frequently struggle on the inside. And this struggle will lead to relationship problems. And it truly is my mission to help evolve men to thrive in their relationships so they can thrive on a holistic level. So I wanted just to make a quick podcast today just to share what my intentions and my vision are. I will be taking the next while to strategically plan and build out what I want to deliver to the world and how I want to serve, and really, quite frankly, where I want to transition my career. So I feel like I'm in a big transitional phase in my life where I'm going to be making a lot of big changes, which is exciting, scary, and all of the above. So I really wanted to take this time to step back from Surrendering Average, as it took up a good chunk of time, a good chunk of my focus and energy. So I can direct that at my new endeavors. I will be launching a new podcast. I will be kind of rebranding in a sense. And if you want to follow along, and if you're curious about that, and if you are looking to improve your relationship, if you are a man who really wants to experience that transformation and really improve your relationship, as I believe that's a foundational, pivotal part of our lives, that without that, we're going to be just experiencing so much struggle and a lot of void. And if that resonates with you, I really hope that you will follow along with me in my new venture, in my new kind of rebranding. So just follow along with me on any of my platforms, whether it be just Facebook or Instagram. You can follow me. My tag is just at Joel Mahe, JoelMahe. Same thing with on Facebook. I will be probably rebranding and making a new website and everything like that. Now, I do want to also touch on, I'll be developing, whether it's new coaching programs or courses integrated with that, maybe a free ebook to kind of let the audiences know what my programs and courses are about. So there's going to be a whole lot of creative work and process that's going to need to be thought through on my end and delivered on my end as well. But I do want to let you know that it probably will be a bit more of a high-end program, because it's going to be very specific, very focused in. And what I've realized is that especially financial ties have a massive impact on what type of action we take aligned with it. I'm actually in the next few months going to be joining a coaching program myself to help me get very niche specific, to help me learn how to serve at the highest level, to provide the most impact. And it's going to be a very expensive course and coaching program that's going to be several thousands of dollars. And I just believe in continually working on ourselves, and to the tie point to make us work, that really put in our full amount of energy and effort, is there's a big tie with money. And especially for myself, when I put money on the line, now I'm really going to dive in. Now I'm really going to pay attention. Now I'm really going to get focused. So for my programs and courses that I will be releasing, they will be a bit more higher value, on the higher end scale. And that's because I want my clients to see results. And I know that they will see results, and they will be a lot more focused and attentive when there is that monetary tie within that. So that's just something to be aware of, that I'm going to be putting a ton of effort, a ton of my own energy, and a ton of my own finances into creating something very special that will serve you and that will help you along your relationships, and to help you evolve to thrive in your relationships in life. So I just wanted to share what my pivot is going to be, and what I'll be doing over the next few months, and hopefully you follow along. And I will be releasing a lot more content in the future, and just really providing value, whether it be free value or whether you take it to the next level and you really want those results, that you hopefully will be able to go the next level and potentially work with me or work with some type of coach where you can get really specific and put all that attention and focus, because that's what it really takes to experience transformation and change in our lives. So I wanted to share that with all of you. It is a sad yet exciting moment for me in my life. Surrendering Average was an amazing process. It taught me many things. It was a great journey. I hope it brought some sort of value into your life. And I really look forward to hopefully seeing you all carry through into my next endeavors. And if not, I really just hope you found value, and I appreciate you for listening and following along my journey. So I hope you all have an amazing day, and that you take the actions to surrender your average life. Take care, everybody.